Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Total Biscuit of the WoW Podcast, Blue Please on CynicalBrit.com, and I would like to welcome you to Under the Sea. Under the sea, there'll be no accusations, just friendly crustaceans under the sea. This video is no longer available due to a claim by Disney Entertainment for terrible singing. Now, I'm here today in Vashj'ir to show you a couple of things. One is this giant-ass shellfish thing to the left, which I will pan around to in just a moment. I have no idea what it is. I'm told by some of my guildmates it's some kind of old god or something. Quite the scenery around here. Lots of cool stuff. And I'm here to show you the Abyssal Seahorse. And, because I'm that frickin' awesome, or in this case, awful, we're here to try the Failshark. The Failshark is Vashj'ir's equivalent of the Fellreaver, only even more unpleasant. It has 7.5 million HP, and it can hit you for more than 1 million damage. I wish I was kidding. I'm not. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and kite the Failshark. I know this can be done because I've seen it done in another video, but it's quite tricky for a number of different reasons. One being just how frickin' hard it is to hit. Two, because half the guys we've got here, including myself, don't have the Abyssal Seahorse, and don't have the underwater speed and breathing buff that you can get from the introductory quest at the start of Vashj'ir. In Alpha and Early Beta, you're actually able to teleport directly to Vashj'ir. That is no longer the case. You've got to take a boat from Orgrimmar to do a sort of introduction to the whole zone, and there's a scripted event and stuff, which I'm going to show you in a future video. Then, once you're all sorted out with that, you can teleport to Vashj'ir directly. I don't know if that's going to be in the final version, but I'd think there'd be something like that, because the boat quest, it's on a timer, so you have to wait like 10 or 20 minutes for it to actually depart. Then there's all the scripting, and yeah. There may be a phase that allows you to get there quicker. I don't know what they're planning on doing there. You'll also notice up to the right-hand side on the surface there's a bunch of Alliance warships. There are some Horde ones as well as the gnomish-looking submarine there. There is a Horde one, I believe, as well, which you might get to see a little bit later on. Now, I'm calling this video the Failshark because, well, it's a bit of a spoiler. We couldn't kill this thing. There's a couple of issues. Aside from the fact that it bites you for 1 million damage, the more important thing is that you get random line of sight bugs with this thing. Quite surprising, really, when you think about it. It's a giant frickin' whale shark. It's about 200 feet long. You can see it very clearly from miles away. But apparently you get line of sight issues. Go figure. The hitbox is also very weird. Anyway, I'm going to zoom to the fight so I can show you exactly what this guy can do. Now, before you ask, this isn't really a world boss per se. There is no loot for it whatsoever, although there is an exploration-based achievement called From Hell's Heart I Stab at Thee, which involves killing a whale shark. That's the only real reason to do it. It doesn't drop any loot, it doesn't give you any other benefits at all. It's basically a welcome creature, like in TBC and Hellfire Peninsula you had the Fellreaver. And of course in the Western Plaguelands you've got your welcome bears and you've got your welcome elementals in Darkshore. And I think Wrath actually lacked a lot of that, which was rather disappointing. I do remember first going to Hellfire and being absolutely amazed by it, and then getting stomped into the ground by this huge robot thing. In Vashj'ir, you will be eaten by the whale shark, and you won't survive it. There is no way to tank this thing at this level. I don't think there's going to be any way to tank it anyway. It hits far too hard for that. Once again, scrolling combat text is broken in the beta right now. You can see certain things like damage taken in heals, but no actual damage meters or anything, so... Oh, wow, okay, I pulled aggro. Oh, ouch! 850,000 damage. Not used to doing things without threat meters. The aggro on this is kind of weird. It can reset due to line of sight issues, and I know I was putting out way too much damage for this thing. We're trying to kite it around with chains of ice from the Death Knight. It didn't work out so well, as you can tell. I can see it now. Total Biscuit, you're a raiding noob. You pulled aggro. Nah. I'm used to having Omen. Don't use the default UI. Now, you see, this guy's got an advantage. He knows what he's doing. Let's see if we can ride this. That'll be great. Why is it that you can't mount yourself on aquatic form druids? I suppose it's probably the same reason why you can't mount yourself on a bear druid. It's also very disappointing, I might add. Also, these things wriggle too much. You can't stay on them. You need a harness. Some kind of saddle. Now, I said I was going to show you the Abyssal Seahorse, so let me give you a nice look at it. There you go, the Seahorse of Doom. I'm not all that threatened by that seahorse, I must say. Now, if you want to know how you get this, apparently about 10 quests into Vashir, you can get a quest to tame a seahorse and ride that around, so you don't have to spend too long swimming about, which is nice, because the first few quests I actually did in Vashir, in Alpha, were painfully awful. I think this mount makes it a lot easier. What you should also bear in mind is before that, if you know where you're going, if you can get to the surface, you can actually mount your flying mount while in the water, and then fly up in the air. It's rather handy. Round 2 on Failshark. Do we have the numbers? Not really. I'd say 7.5 million health. It's not a huge amount, but for a group of this many, bearing in mind we're actually kiting this, and staying in range of it is really hard. It seems easy enough, but because of the whole line of sight thing, it's very weird. If you get too close to it, you end up inside the damn thing, or at least inside its hitbox. And the game doesn't think that you're actually facing it. It thinks that the whale shark is behind you, which it clearly isn't. Unless there's a second whale shark. I might add, there is a second whale shark. This is not the only whale shark in this area. There's another one swimming around, so if you want an extra hardcore challenge, then you can take on 2 whale sharks at once, which will result in your horrible, horrible death. You're not going to learn much about Fire Mage PvE rotations here. I'm just spamming whatever I happen to have at the time. What I did realize about halfway through is just like, oh, yeah, I can move while scorching now. I have the talent for it in this spec. It's very nice. I'm still not massively keen on those new fire sounds. I think I preferred the old ones, but hey, whatever. This thing can take a lot of punishment. No doubt about that. It is slowable, though, so you can kite it. Otherwise, I think that's probably the only crowd control that seems to work. It doesn't seem to be moving there, but it kind of is. Its animations are not all there yet. Now, I think you know what's going to happen, so let's just skip to the inevitable demise of the tank when the LOS bugs out, he ends up getting killed, and suddenly, oh god, there's an angry whale shark murdering everything. I survived an 879,000 hit. I am the best tank in the world. And there's no one left alive to take the aggro. At least that does confirm you can clear Cauterize with Ice Block. 1 million! Fantastic. I think that's the hardest I've ever been hit for. My name's been Total Biscuit, and the whale shark's quite tough. That's all I can say. I'll see you next time.